Don't know why it just talked to me, but. Okay, so, oh, great. I brought this out. My iPad that I love to like open reference to just is about to die too, so. But so far we still have power, so here's hoping.
Well, that's good. Do you have a generator?
No, it's in the works. We're actually getting one, but of course Kevin will say, see, this is why I bought a generator. I think I'm frozen. You're frozen or I'm frozen. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're going to start, and I don't know, we had a guest, well, someone was going to join us tonight, and she just said she's out of power too, so she can't.
Oh,
And the other person that was going to join us, they just lost power, so that's it.
Oh, I could always watch if you want to have the whole thing, you know, if you want to have everybody, I could always watch tomorrow. I don't mind at all.
All right.
Date night is sacred in our house. So
It
Thursday is
should
always
be.
date night.
And never change that. Never change that. Well, you and I can go through what we can, and if everybody can go again tomorrow or something and they have questions, and I mean, I don't mind. So I'm going to pull up my sheets. I have so I love, let's start just for a minute now. Do you ever do Om? Do you ever
Only in yoga.
Okay, so I do it every morning, and we're in, technically we're in habit 3, which is start your day right. But the reason it is so sacred, and because I love it so much, I'm a morning person, but it's because what is available to us in the morning. So when you do Om and you actually put your hands, your thumb, like right here on your heart chest, you can feel the vibration. So that's what you want to do even when you're in yoga class. A lot of people will do it up here. They're connecting to third eye. And then most people, a lot will do it here, but if you actually tuck your thumb in, you can feel the vibration of the sound. So the sound of Om in Eastern philosophy and Ayurveda is the original sound of creation. It's that vibrational sound that is the original sound of the actual creation. So when you go, you're actually feeling, and you can practice feeling it all the way up all the chakras. So you're going, it's Om, or you'll see people say Om. So A, that's from the lower chakras coming up in vibrational. And then the when you close your lips, that is the higher vibration of the third eye and the crown chakra. So you can actually picture it coming up, all of that energy, that universal sound, that creation energy, all the way up, opening up the chakras. So start your day right is super important because it literally starts your day right. And there are meditation practices. People will get up before dawn, and the most beautiful time, the most sacred time of the day, which we've gone across on probably many of our calls, is that morning time. And it's an hour and a half prior to the sunrise. Wow. So as we remember, if we go back to our Ayurveda clock, Vata time, that time in the morning, I like your mug. That time in the morning is Vata time. 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is Vata. And Vata is made up of air and ether. So it's that air and ether and that movement. So start your day right becomes a practice more of when you roll over, getting up early in the morning before dawn. That's what they call Brahma Muhurta. Muhurta is this beautiful, it's creation time, it's God time, it's this time of beginning and like newness. And it's really pretty beautiful. Their traditions go back, thousands and thousands of years at this point in the morning, because when the energy is transitioning from that dark to light, this is when we have that cleanest, most available energy, but it's also within us. So as we speak, we are always talking about how the macrocosms and the microcosms actually are exchanging within us. So the macro would be the universal, and the microcosm is within us. And we're all exchanging and a part of each other. So we come from the elements of the earth and we exchange with these energies. So the most beautiful time is that morning time, that Brahma. So when you wake up, you start your day right in practice and in habits by waking up early, and then of course checking your tongue and scraping. That's all like part of that morning routine to get rid of those nighttime toxins. And then from there you would try to, you know, eliminate. Most people have to get up and go to the bathroom. You hydrate, you like, then you bring in that nourishment of hydration that kind of starts to wake up that sleepiness from nighttime. And from there you try to make it right into within those morning hours before 6 a.m. You get into that meditation. So the faster you can get into sit in silence and actually do some om, and then go into your quiet time, your prayer time, gratitude, meditation, whatever it is for you, that's when everything is most open and available to you for the day. And it's called God's time and creation time, because this is when creation starts.
Mm.
But if you look at it, it's actually also our own creation time. So this is in the morning when we meditate on gratitude or prayer, or we visualize our day. So you set yourself up in the morning in that beautiful awakening. So the energies that we're exchanging when we meditate, if you can kind of picture yourself sending that information out, that's what it is. It's like an exchange of your thoughts and energy out into the rest of the world that is meditating and praying at the same time. Most cultures are praying at that time and meditating. So you're exchanging all this beauty
Mm.
with all these other, because the micro and the macro has cosms all exchange. So it's
That's
this,
so cool to
it's a,
think about that. That
yes,
like it's not just you in your own little space, that there's like
yes.
thousands of people, millions of people across the world at the same time. That's so cool. I had never thought of that
And
before. It's amazing.
that's exactly what you're doing. You are exchanging this energy field and this energy time with all the other people that are doing it,
Wow.
not just you isolated. So at this same time, you are exchanging that beauty of the morning and you're transforming it into your own messages. You're creating. So it's God's creation time or your creation time to set up yourself for that day. And every day is different. And every day that you do it, it is this little difference. And it is this, and it becomes, hopefully, it becomes one of our habits to get up. And we could have, you know, as we have our time trigger, it usually is time for the morning. So it's you wake up, you get up. I have one really beautiful book that one of my first Ayurveda books that I got just for easy reading, like way back, just because I loved the author. And so her name is Acharya Shuna,
Hmm.
and she is an Ayurvedic doctor, practitioner. Her grandfather was her guru, and her and just her lifelong mentor. So everyone in India, especially through, you were always taught these traditions and these things through a guru. So her grandfather happened to be the village and a guru and a, you know, and their lineage goes all the way back to the Vedas and back. So they are in this small little village, like underneath Mount Everest that comes through. So the river, the Blue River that comes in, is directly coming off of Mount Everest. So they have their daily walks in the morning, in the dark, as she's a child, with her grandfather to the river to give praise and pray and give thanks for the, and set up and meditate for the whole day. But the whole village would come in. So
Wow.
as a young child, her grandfather would wake her up every morning, but she said she actually would begin, she just started to wake up because she felt this oneness. So there's beautiful little part. She says, um, a big part of my life as a child was my trip to the river in the early morning with my grandfather. Like everyone else there, our lives revolved around River Sarayu, whose history exceeds back to the Rig Veda. So that's like 5,000 years ago.
Wow.
Um, in ancient times. This beautiful blue river comes from the glaciers of Mount Everest, the world's tallest mountain, that runs through the valleys and the gorges, through tiny mountain hamlets and settlements that reach the city of Ayodhya, which is her little place in northern India. So she says every day, Baba would, that was her grandfather, Baba, would come and wake me in the beginning of the Brahma Muhurta, which is that time, with a reminder that River Sarari awaits us, and her way of emerging into the Holy Grange River, Ganya Maya, as he called her. As a little girl, I would wonder to myself, why does the river await us? Does the river know us? And grandfather would say, as I asked Baba these questions, he replied with his gentle smile and his ever eye sparkling, of course, because we are essentially one. So connecting with the elements in the morning, she would walk as this connection to the river, and she knew why she was going even at the age of like 3 and 4. So it's this
So
beauty.
cute.
Yes, so she would have the magic of the dawn. And this book goes into, it explains Ayurveda in its scientific manner, but then every chapter has a story of Baba and his
Oh, I love
telling her
that.
and teaching her. And it has beautiful
You have to share
recipes.
that with us. If
Yeah,
you could
that's it.
share that book with us, I would love to check that out.
Yes, it's that is a beautiful, beautiful book. So it's very, very important to, let's work ourselves back a little bit. So knowing now how sacred the morning is, and why it's so beautiful and why it's important to wake up these early morning, we need to kind of reverse engineer ourselves to be able to get there. So if we are if you have the Body Thrive book or the email that I just sent out, I'll send this one too. This one connects to it. I'll send this one right over to you. There's a, I always do this. My iPad doesn't have the connections. Pull this
The
here.
Habits book, that one I do have. The 8 Habits.
Do you have the Body Thrive, the book, actual book?
I don't. I have that, like, there's like a 90-page like habits book that was attached in your email that I have.
Okay. Yes, that one, that is as well. So start your day right. Again, we're going to start. So take 2 minutes before you get up in the morning. And why do you do this? We kind of just went over, because this is the connection time in the morning to this universal energy. And when you really, really begin to do it and you really start to practice it mindfully, it is so true. You really begin to connect with hearing the birds, or in the winter, is it cold? How do you feel? Like, you can feel the difference in these energies if you are conscious of it. If you make yourself aware in the morning, and you begin to be just like she explains in the morning. She began to really look forward to it. She just rolled over and woke up because she knew it was a morning gift. Like, the universe was giving her this gift of the morning. And if you take your time to be aware of it, and sometimes it's harder to get up than others, but again, let's go back to habit 1 and 2. If we eat our earlier, lighter dinner, then we have that rest period between, that time to go for a walk or go do something before nighttime, bedtime. And we, generally speaking, you'll be tired earlier because your body is now light again. Its digestion has happened and everything is set, and you'll be able to rest more easily, go to bed easier. So if we eat earlier, go to bed earlier, our reward is getting to wake up in the morning in this Brahma time, Brahma Muhurta, which is the sacred time. So there's an article that I have in here that I will send over. I don't know if I sent this in today's email. Night owls. It says, night owls, beware of the evil second wind. So as we spoke last call, going to bed earlier, that little bit earlier if you can, because you're in pitta time. If you go to sleep later and later, between 11, 12, 1, you're in pitta. And what is pitta? It's fire transformation, it's metabolism, it's that awakeness. So there is truly this evil second wind. So you try not to do that, just because it really does disturb. It then gives you a second wind and you stay up.
And Deb, if you're sleeping during pit, like, because it's pitta time overnight, is
Mhm.
that why, like, we digest, we cleanse, like our system is fired up. So like even
Yes.
when we're sleeping, that pitta time, that it's kind of good then because it's like
That
fiery.
exactly. That is exactly its purpose. That's what the body wants, the body and the brain. Again, I think from the very beginning calls, through even detox, the only time the brain detoxes is at night when the
Wow.
endocrine system tells everything else, the melatonin, the cortisols. So if you stay up in pitta time, you're activating that cortisol again and again and again. So
Mm.
none of that like tapers down enough to allow the brain to go to sleep and detox. And if we go
Wow.
year after year, day, time after time of constantly going to bed late, using up that time that the brain needs, you literally can get brain fog, more of a chronic issue with like brain fog and memory and all, because your brain is never getting that rested detox state. Because every
Wow.
night the brain wants to detox. And if you miss it, it doesn't happen 2 hours later or 3 hours later. You miss it. And then you have to try again the next night.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So that like people will say they ate a little bit later or something and they were like sweating in bed, or because the body is now trying to digest rather than detox. Or if
Mm.
you have a lot to detox out, you'll notice maybe you're a little bit warmer or fiery a little bit more at night. A, it could be detox. B, it could be you're still trying to digest a very late dinner or a very heavy dinner. So start to become aware of these things. Like when you get into bed, has your body temperature lowered down a little bit? Is it still really hot? Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes there's so much to detox out, maybe from the day, maybe from the week or something. The body gets really, really hot, but that in that respect, it's a good thing because it's cleansing. It's moving things out as it should if it doesn't have to digest. So that's usually a really, really good thing. So if you engage in these second winds time after time after time, as we spoke last week, you're borrowing against tomorrow. Like you're using and you don't give it back. Deficits just don't come back. And you have
Yeah.
to, it takes a lot of, kapha time of now, like really getting to bed earlier. Maybe for a month, you need 9 hours of sleep. So if we could get our bodies out of this evil second wind and more into rhythm, then that morning beauty gets to happen. That morning Brahma, which gives us that gift of the day. It gives us that alive, that awakened time, that creation time, again, to create ourselves. So this work that we're doing and these habits that we're transforming ourselves and becoming this new person, or having this goal set, that's when the universe gives us that energy, that ether and that air to create it. And it's it's actually scientifically proven now that like things set up through this Brahma time, that medical science shows that the urine itself, because it has had its time to detox and release, has a different chemical makeup than any other time in the day. Your energy levels are completely on different wavelengths at that time. You're more receiving and expanding in and out, which doesn't happen that strongly through the rest of the day. So it's pretty magnificent to be able to take advantage of these beautiful things at this time of the day. So it's really pretty neat that we're lucky enough to, be a part of this. So we get to
Yeah.
wake up, scrape your tongue, hydrate, super important. I don't know how far you or anyone else in the group is into their hydration, but you can start just with your, a large cup or a glass, and then increase it to where you're training your body also to start eliminating. If you're not that person that eliminates in the morning, you're training your body to eliminate in the morning. You don't want to start your day heavy. You want to start your day light. And especially if you can do it before, if you can get this water up to like, I drink almost a quart in the morning, especially if I haven't woken up and like pooped right away, then I need like a quart of water. That heaviness of it pushes it right out.
Yeah.
And then,
It's so funny since the cleanse, like my system completely switched.
yes,
Like since we did the cleanse and started drinking so much water, and the second I get up, like just drinking back, tongue scrape, brushing my teeth, and then I just immediately have my warm water. It's like, whoop,
yes,
ready to
exactly.
go.
And it's beautiful because now the body, it's an actual, like, it's a learned response now for the body. The body knows Now this is the time, and it expects it. It's setting up the whole day prior to wait, like this is when it's going to happen. And from there, now your body's like, did you ever get up and you are a little constipated or things aren't going right, and you try to sit down and meditate or do yoga or any kind of exercise, you have that heaviness? Like it's just not the same. Like you don't feel that lightness. So that Vata morning is giving us the lightness, you know, having that early bowel movement is giving us the lightness. And then we get to sit either in silence or prayer or meditate and exchange that gorgeous energy. That's when we're set up. So to do like your pranayama and things like that, you know, we'll do in a whole nother, because that's a nice, big part of the habits, is getting into doing your pranayama, your breath body work and getting things moving, which is like a beautiful time. But again, in the morning, really look at your tongue too. I did something the other day. I was doing things. I was out in the garden and I was really overdoing it on the weekend. I was pushing myself, and it was kind of hot this weekend here. And I just wanted to finish the gardening, and I had not hydrated enough. And I forget what I ate or something. That heat had to like come out. And all of a sudden I looked in the back, and the back of my tongue, all of a sudden I looked, and there was like this red elevated area. And then the rest looked kind of normal, but that inflamed area. And this was the heat release. This was like my body telling me like, okay, this stuff has to come out now. I'm going to pull up let me just look real fast.
It is so funny while you're pulling that up, like setting yourself up for the right habits. Like it's so funny when you look at those flow charts of like, start recognizing your signs of early fatigue. Like I'm sitting here talking to you and it's 7:30 and I'm yawning a little. I'm having my tea. I'm feeling tired. And I'm like, why do I feel like I have to keep pushing and staying awake for like 3 more hours just to do it? I'm like, my body's telling me I'm tired. Like start thinking about winding down maybe. Like, why do you have to stay up later? You know, it's just so funny.
All right, I'm going to share my screen for a minute. I'm just going to pull this back up here again, see if I can get it up in the right where you can see it. Okay. All right, let me share, screen share. Can you see my tongue chart?
I can, yep.
Okay, so I just explained, so I was out. So in the morning, this is when it's so important to start your day right. You have to start recognizing what is your normal, what is not. You understand you can wake up kind of groggy, but you'll begin to change that into wanting to wake up early. So I just said I was gardening. My water was over here. My water was over there. Like I knew things just weren't, but I just was mustering through this, trying to get it done. So the back of my tongue, I'm looking at this tongue chart. And if you look here and you look at that part back of my tongue, I had gotten a beautiful, deep tissue massage from Isa. And back here, I had like broken a rib a year or so ago or done something. And I can always feel like a little bit almost in that kidney area, but it was just the massage and all this. Then didn't drink enough water, wasn't hydrating. I could really feel the heat like circulate in my body, like it needed to come out, but it was almost kind of stuck because I didn't have the elements to push it out and have enough water at all. So in the morning, actually, I woke up in the middle of the night, and if you rub your tongue, you can kind of feel something, like something is starting to pop up. So I got up and I looked at the tongue chart. It was my kidneys. And it was that kidney that I felt and done. And right here on my tongue in that little red spot, the kidney. So I knew immediately everything I was thinking I didn't do right the day before, my tongue showed me. I didn't even like it was. So when I took my tongue scraper and scraped on my tongue, it was like there was almost a sore back there. So the tongue will really tell you, like you start to notice, look back. So within our workbook pages and things, we have these tongue charts. So like we did the same thing in the detox as we were looking and checking our tongues. If you pay attention, it navigates for you. It tells you, it gives you a clue before the body starts to really like break down or get into like a first or second stage of any kind of an illness. Every single day, the tongue is going to give you a little indication of what is going on, what's happening. So
and Deb, just to clarify, when I look at this chart, am I looking at this as if I'm looking at myself in the mirror or looking at like a friend? So like if I'm looking like liver, like it's right,
yes,
matched up.
Correct. Yes,
Cool.
you don't have
Thank
to
you.
turn it around. It's
Got
the
it.
yes. So it's really an easy, super easy, but crucial tool to watch. People that are on a lot of medication and different things, and you can actually see their tongue will be inflamed, or a very vata person if they're not hydrated, or a cigarette smoker, or someone who drinks a lot of alcohol, their tongue is very dry looking. A very pitta, very super, say someone's really stressed out in work or doing whatever, and their pitta is really aggravated and really high, their tongue, they might have skin rash. Their tongue is going to have a real red inflamed look to it. So, and then the kapha, say a very, very kapha person who right now has really bad allergies or something that's going on in all of their nose, their throat. If you were to ask them to stick their tongue out, they would have like a yellow coat on their tongue. And that's the mucus. That's the sign that there's too much mucus in the body. There's too much ama. So the tongue chart is a really, really, really great view of what's going on inside our body.
Mm. Yeah, that was so fascinating during the cleanse to see the different stages. Like
Yes.
some days, like I could see like my kidney and then like liver. It was just so cool to see like the transition throughout that.
Yes. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to just that easily look and go, oh, yeah, okay, I got to pay attention to that. That's not good.
Mm.
So this is one gentleman too that I follow, and it's Sadhguru. And he is, I think I've mentioned him in our cleanse. So he is not an Ayurvedic doctor. He is not an Ayurvedic practitioner. Grew up in India, as kind of a Vedic just philosopher, like things he just knew and knows things. He was had this birth, and is like they would go to their doctor, the mom would go, and then he wasn't cooperating in birth. He like wouldn't come out. Like he just knew whatever was happening in the birth, but the mom felt okay with it. Like it was all right. There was something different and really special she felt in her pregnancy, and she wasn't worried about it. And then finally he was born, I think, at home. And she goes on at different times, he has referenced in her text, that he didn't want to go to school. Somehow he just knew that he knew what he needed to know and to teach other people. So he like refused as a child of like 5 siblings or something. Like he wasn't going to go to school. His guru had taught him enough and he wanted to learn that and keep going. So he just has this wisdom, and having grown up with gurus and things, he has all this enlightenment that is just natural to him. And he's a really cool older dude, and he's really great. And so what he explains, what happens during Brahma Muhurta, is the nature of the planet's relationship with the sun and the moon is such that certain physiological changes happen in the human system at this time. Medical science, this is where I got, has even referenced, found that the waste material in your body, such as your urine, for example, has a certain quality at this time, which does not happen at any other time of the day. There is a substantial research into this. The entire body is in a certain conductive atmosphere, and there is a natural production of what's called melatonin. So we kind of gone into like the endocrine system, which is a secretion of the pineal gland. We want to make sure of to use of this because the pineal gland is secreting at its maximum during Brahma Muhurta, which means you can stabilize. So this is the most powerful time during the day that we can take this secretion and use the pineal gland to set us up for that vision of ourselves, that creation of ourselves, to stabilize. In modern medicine, melatonin is seen as a mood stabilizer. And he says, I have been talking about bringing yourself into ease for a long time, which means you are not fluctuating. Coming into ease happens naturally during Brahma Muhurta. So at this point, when the pineal gland is getting its message to send to the endocrine system to get everything kind of stabilized and calm and set up, it's that time that's why we're taking advantage of this at that time, because now we have complete access to that lightness, that awareness, that creation time in our own body, but spiritually. And we don't have to call it, like in Catholic, like God and church and all. It's that bliss body, or like that being that is connected to the cosmos. So he says, at this time, people want to sit up do their spiritual progresses so that they can get the most benefit. This is when it happens. It's time of the creator. It's time to create yourself. You become the Brahma in the Brahmin, which is a Brahmin is like a creator of something. So you become your own Brahmin in the morning. So you can make yourself. So if we think of it that way, we are designing ourselves through our habits. We're shifting our identity now. We're changing our habits so that we can create this higher, better self for ourselves. And if we kind of picture and visualize ourselves in the morning at this time, this is when it's going to have the most profound kind of effect on us. This is when we're really going to feel that. So in the
So cool.
morning, it's beautiful. So in the morning, if you could think of these things rather than getting up and having that time of, it's easy to get up and scrape your tongue and hydrate. Like we've got this dialed in now and it feels so good. And then if you could scurry into like that quiet time or sit down time, and this becomes more of that like expansive, like you start to want to do it no matter where you are. If you're traveling, if you're out, if you're visiting people, like you begin to not want to miss it because you understand how much it's doing for you, what it's doing, what you're interacting with. And it becomes a really, really cool thing. It has just been like huge in my meditation practice, because sometimes you're like, oh, I can't meditate, my thoughts are all going, I have so much going on at work, or I just had a fight with a girlfriend or something. But if you're kind of attacking it from a different angle, that you're using it as a meditative state to exchange energies and create yourself, the word meditation doesn't have to be so hard. Because a lot of people are like, I can't meditate, it's too hard. I
Yeah,
can't
I
sit
don't
in
really
silence,
know how to
it's too hard.
meditate. I would love to talk more about meditation at some point, because like I find like I've always been like a meditate in motion. Like I like to walk, I like to
Yes.
run, but I would like to explore like that sitting in silence and spending more time that way. So I feel like it'd be good for me.
It's very, very good for Vata Pittas, especially Vata. So I think I said back probably in one of the cleanse calls that I was the person that got up every morning at like 5:30 I was running. So I did the same thing. I got up, and I mean, I always would say some kind of thing, but I was more in tune, especially because, my schedule with getting the whole household ready. I had to get up by 5 and out, or my time was everybody else's for the rest of the day. So I was more in that go, but I was go, 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 go. And then once I really, really like, probably in school was probably the hardest point, because we were taught to just sit sometimes. And, we're in Manhattan and there's all kinds of noise going on, and it's like you could feel it and you create it, and it would be this time of, yoga in the morning, and pitta, because it's so hot and fiery. You want to do yoga in the summertime that cools the body down and relaxes the body. And all us pittas and stuff, and in the city, we're like, no, let's go, let's do. And they would, like, you got into class and you had to sit and in silence. And it really taught me how to do that. And it was okay to do that. It was okay to sit. So now there's times when I get up and I wind up just sitting in my silence or sitting in that Brahma time. And I'm like, oh, I could start my yoga now, but if it's before 6, I don't even care. Like if it's before 6, I can sit as long as I want, because then after 6, you're getting into kapha time. So then you can start some structure and get some things going. But if it's still all before 6, just try it. Just sit, like do nothing. Listen now, especially it's so beautiful now. The birds wake up
Yeah.
like 4:30. So the birds really get you going, and it gives you that happiness. It gives you that, that especially wake up. I began doing a practice probably a year or two ago. Someone in one of our schools lectures had a guest speaker. The first thing she said is, when you wake up, she came into class and she said, when you wake up, smile. Just smile. I think we
I've
did.
been trying to do that. Yes, we
Yes.
talked about that. And it's so funny how that changes things. Like, because you wake up and you're so used to just jumping into what I have to do, this and that, or you're just smiling. You're like, oh, it's going to be great. Or I look beautiful today. What a day. And you're like, it immediately just changes things. It's so
Yes.
funny. The little things happen that really help.
Yes. So it's all that mindfulness. So the same thing, you wake up and now you're dialing in. So to do those few habits in a row, really begin to change you as a person. You don't think so. So your habit stacking. But so if you go back to our beginning charts, I am the kind of person who, a lot of people's first version of that was, I'm the kind of person who loves to sleep in. I'm the kind of person who hits my alarm clock 20 times. And then if you kind of get into it more, into the habits, and you start to realize you're becoming easier waking up, maybe you don't need the alarm clock anymore. Maybe you've gotten to 15, 20, a half hour prior to your old wake up time. All of a sudden now your sentence is changing to, I'm the kind of person who wakes up early. And you're like, holy crow, how did that happen? Like, I'm not, but you made it happen. You started to shape shift your habits, and then the habit stacking, which makes it easier if you're doing a few of them in a row. You're waking up, you're checking your tongue, you're hydrating, you're doing all this, you're pooping. Now you're getting into starting the day with a meditation. So your personality is now also going to be perceived by other people. They're going to see a different Ashley, Debbie, whoever in the morning. So it's not your personality again. Like, this is now proof of it, that then makes habits. Your habits are shifting your personality. So as we see this happening, not so easily, some people, it takes a long time to shift some. Then you start to realize, and you kind of get motivated, that these habits are changing me and they're changing my personality for the better. And then it slowly even starts to help that little circle of people around us, and then their circle of people. And as we said,
the circle around us is challenging. Like, that's the thing. Like, for me, like getting up early is great, but I need sleep. So when I'm trying to go to bed early and like my husband doesn't come to bed late and he wakes me up, and it's like, oh, I get so frustrated. So it's like, how to manage that, I think, is a challenge too. Like how to not be impacted. Because frankly, like, no matter all best intentions, like, I can't control another adult who wakes me up. It's hard. You don't want to be a total jerk, but
no. So Kevin was doing that unintentionally as well. He falls asleep downstairs for a while, and then he comes up, and I just go to bed. When I'm ready to go to bed, I go to bed. So I've been really doing the nighttime, like I'm rubbing my toes and my feet and sitting there for a minute. Like last night, the moon was spectacular.
Yeah, so great.
So beautiful. So I was doing that. And of course, the funny thing, I went to send out this this quick little video, but it was too long to send everybody in a text. So it got lost there a little bit. So I had done one night last week. It was so beautiful. The weather was nice. So I decided to like do my little evening routine before I got into bed. And I took my 2 little bottles from my dresser to make like a little bit of lavender. And then I have a little carrier oil, and I rub it on my toes. But I picked it up and I was like, it's so beautiful. The moon is just starting. It was like 3/4 moon. And I was like, I'm not even turning the lights on. I'm just going to do a little bit. It's so gorgeous right here. So I do it, slept like a lot. I put earplugs in now because Kevin,
I think I need to get earplugs.
even walking in the room, I'm a very light sleeper. Walking in, getting into bed, I woke up every time. And so finally, I don't wake up. So the other night, a couple nights ago, I rubbed my feet. I wake up in the morning, and after I'm getting ready for work and showering, I'm like moving my little essential oils over. Well, I start to laugh so hard. I'm like, oh my God. So I had taken lavender oil and put it in my palm. And then I took my carrier oil and I squeezed some out and put it in there. It was full strength CBD oil. Like 1,000 or 2,000. The one that I went back to get, that was like super duper strength.
Oh my gosh.
Rubbed it on my toes. I slept like a bear that night.
That's amazing.
The next 3 nights, I said, okay, well, I'm going to see if this really has any bearing on it. I did it 3 nights in a row. I've been sleeping like a bear.
Oh my gosh.
So
can you send me a picture of what that one is? I want to try that.
Absolutely. Yep.
That sounds awesome.
Yes. And if your mom is coming up soon, or you're coming down or whatever, I can get you one and send it up.
Thanks. That'd be great.
I laughed so hard. Gosh. I was like, it absolutely worked. So that and earplugs. So the earplugs help. I don't hear him, but I
need to get earplugs.
I have not heard him the last 3 nights at all. And I've slept like a log. So things like that, but it's the ritual too of sitting like for a minute before bed in the dark or with a candle on, rubbing your feet, getting yourself set up. And of course, if you're not a kapha sleeper, if you're not like someone like Miranda, you could vacuum around her. She's not waking up. Kevin, first couple hours he falls asleep, You could literally bang drums around his head, not waking up. So, but someone like us, you might need the earplugs or whatever, but just
Mm,
setting yourself up, turning your diffuser on, maybe like doing things
yeah.
like that. So then by the morning, you're rested and you want to wake up. Like you want to get up
Mm-hmm.
and start your day. But instead of, as we just said, getting up and starting your day in that, oh, I got to go, think about how beautiful the morning is now. Think of it now as that Brahma Muhurta, like it's that dawn prior to dawn. So it's kind of important to start it if you can, even if you can do 5 minutes earlier, then you just start waking up like, I'm just up,
Mm,
5 a.m. Like, I just can't wait to get out and start my day. So the start your day right is super important to set up yourself for that day, the next day. It begins to snowball as we think of it too, your habits as you're creating these new habits. So if you have, everybody's familiar with like, so we'll draw our little our our X and our Y axis, and we have our chart for say compound interest. So as you put in, and it slowly, as you compound it, the curve goes up and up faster and
mm,
faster because you're compounding your interest. If we do that in our habits and time, so as we add on our habits, all of a sudden they are helping the next habits and things change
mm.
more easily. And then our compound interest goes higher. And
Nice.
then our identity, because of the habits in time, starts off like this. And then our identity starts to shift faster and faster and faster because the compound of adding these habits in goes higher faster.
I
Then
love
from
that.
there, the identity shifts the personality. Then the personality
Mm,
trait, same thing, the compound, it goes skyrockets that much faster. But you don't want to look at like, all in really fast. Still Kaizen like this. Like if it's easier just to get out of bed 5 minutes earlier, that's huge.
hmm
Then
I
10.
love that idea. Those things are so important for people like me to hear because I
Yeah,
think I'm my natural inclination is to go, I'm setting my alarm for 5. And if I don't get up, I'm a failure. That's how my brain
exactly.
works.
Yes,
So it's really nice to hear, no, like, okay, so normally I set my alarm for like 6:15. Maybe I'll try 6:10 and six,
yes,
and then before I know it, it'll be, I don't know, maybe a month from now, but I have a hard time
exactly.
with that. So it's really good to like reiterate that for people like
Yes.
me.
And the more that you get in the habit of waking up earlier, your body is going to, it's going to transition from that nighttime easier to like, oh, it's bedtime. I'm going to bed. I
Yeah,
don't care what's happening around me. I'm going to bed. So
totally.
that you're reverse engineering each of these habits is pulling back from, you're going backwards to go forward. So you're
Mm,
pulling, which is the same thing in yoga. You have to ground down to grow up. A tree has to
mm.
put its roots in deep, deep, deep. It has to ground down hard to be able to grow up tall. So it's the same thing in habit, in changing anything, in evolving into a new person, like, and really set that line. I'm a person who, or I want to achieve this in life. I want to achieve this in relationships. I want to be this person. It doesn't have to be just in the day, newness of the day. And it's you get to create. There is no one on earth that can tell you that you can't do something. And they're actually knowing and proving now that we even can genetically change our makeup because of, especially because of this time of mourning. This is the most powerful time
Mm.
to send these intentions like out into the world, and because this is when the exchange of energy is happening the most. So you can create whatever future you want for yourself and become whatever or whoever you want and whatever to happen. And it just takes doing it, and
Yeah.
it takes knowing that you can. So it's a I love this start the day. As I said in the beginning, it was hard for me because I was like get up and go,
Yeah.
and now I'm like I just sit out here in the hut in the morning, and sometimes there's a squirrel running by. Every bird in the planet is like coming out like to talk, and a deer will run by, and I'm like who's, you don't need a
It's
billion
so
dollars to be able to
beautiful.
sit and
I
have that.
know. It's so true. It's just like so hard. I mean, not hard, but when you actually do it for a little while and you realize how good you feel and how much space you create for yourself and just how much calmer you are, people around you, and
Yeah,
how much you just take a breath. And like, I just think so many of us are used to having to pack our day
yeah,
from dawn till dusk with just like go, 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 go.
yes.
And it's just so nice to slow down.
Yeah. And to give yourself permission that in every other culture, it is looked upon as a beautiful grace. Like, how many times a day do other cultures pray? Literally put their head to the ground and bow and pray. So they're praying for thankfulness, they're praying for their health, they're praying for the sun and the moon and the earth. Like they're praying for these gifts of natural, like the five elements. But from that, we get to create our future. And like I said too, like you're allowed to create wealth also. You're allowed to create or want wealth for certain things to be able to have a different quality of life, or to be able to give back to people who aren't as fortunate.
Yeah.
So it's you don't have to be someone out meditating out in your bare feet for the rest of your life, but you have to be able to take advantage of this time to empower yourself, to change and become. So
I love it.
that is Start Your Day Right. And it is just if you can look at it. So this book too is, again, it's beautiful stories. And next time you come down, you can take it and borrow it and use it. And I've actually had her, Ashunia, on, she has a new book or a new cookbook, I think. It's just a really pretty book. And in the back, she has all remedies for facial. She does yoga in the back. She teaches you how to cook in the back, like a few different recipes, and how to make all your own skincare. So it's a great book. And it's not a new edition. And I think her new book is cooking. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but she's been on calls with us at school a few times, and she's such a beautiful person. Like, she makes the book even more beautiful. Just being able to be on a call with her.
Beauty of Amazon. There it is. I just ordered it.
Excellent. Coconut and turmeric face pack for fall. I mean, like she has all these great things. Milk face pack, milk exfoliator. So she also goes into, like, when you make your yogurt and your milk, like, it's full fat. You need the fat on your skin. And so, yeah, you'll love it. This is a great book to read. Like I said, every chapter has a story of her and her grandfather, and then
So
the
cute.
information, and then the story and her grandfather, and then the information. So it's a great, like, a read. It's a very beautiful read.
Love it.
All right. Any other questions or any other on Start Your Day Right, or any of the routine of it? Or there's a couple of really good things in the workbooks. You know what? I will send along. I'm going to send out this recording, and then I'm going to send a couple of the bookmarks too for the workbook, the Body Thrive workbook, and I think the Habits Guide has, like, a quick little, like, steps to do in the morning, just in case, you don't remember all of them. But again, really always check your tongue. That's a big one. Checking your tongue is a good indicator.
I'm excited to try the ohms too, because I love the way it feels. Like, when we do the ohms in yoga, like, I love the way the vibrations feel. And I never thought, it's so fun. Like, you just don't know it. I mean, there's so much I don't know, right? But I never thought or knew that I had to do it other times. And I like it. I really enjoy that part of it. So
I think if you do it like 3 to 5 times, I think some of the magic numbers is like 12 times in the morning. So everything coincides with a number, or, particular within the atmosphere or within the cosmos, the universe or something. But if you even just do like 3 of them, 3 ohms, like clear and cleanse. And so I always do at least 3 in the morning. There's this beautiful thing I do in Reiki. It's the 5 blessings. And so after I do my Om, then I take my hands still from there and I put them to the third eye. And you say this every morning, and you say, so it's only for today. So you're focusing on just today. So you would do, only for today, I will not worry. Only for today, I will not anger. Only for today, I will work with integrity and honesty. Only for today, I will be kind to all living things. Only for today, I will be grateful for all my blessings. And then you just say that at the end, and then you just say namaste. So
I love that. That's a good one. Maybe you can send us too, so we can remember to do that one. I would love to try that.
And it does make you, there's been times even in work where you could have done something, or like cheated around a corner or done something, and it literally has made me go, nope, do it the right way, or don't do, like, and it's pretty powerful in its simplicity.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that one too.
All right. You have a beautiful night.
Thank you. It was great seeing you and talking to
Yes.
you.
You got a little private session.
I know. It's beautiful. I love it. Lucky me.
Oh, well, good. Very good. And you ask nice questions. So it'll like sometimes I teach and I forget I had so many questions like back at different times. So
Yeah, no, it's so fun. I love it. It's nice to be able to ask all the questions. And yeah, I'm just going into just feeling good. Life is
good.
good.
Beautiful. Sorry
All
no one
right.
else could make it, but it was kind of important to, just
Yeah, keep the
keep going.
momentum going. No,
Yeah.
it's great. Thank you
And
for taking the time and meeting with me. It sounds like your storm passed too.
yeah, it's just still blackout right now. It's just drizzling. It's not, there's
Okay.
no thunder.
You can see the humidity. So when we got on the call, my hair was straight and now it's curly.
Oh yeah, look at it. It's like, woo,
I know.
pretty.
It's like it's humid here. It's so funny. I'm just sitting outside for like this hour and I have like my curly hair.
Gorgeous. All
Oh,
right, honey. I
well,
love you. Thank
I
you.
love you too.
Have
Talk
a
to you
good night.
soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.